I don't want to talk about politics or law systems or
Thank
whatever. I just want to ask you a question. You're a writer. And this generation, do you think that in the future they will read because they have their social media, they have their iPad, they have their phone, but they don't read anymore a newspaper or they don't read anymore a book? How do you going to prevent that they are going to read a book?
American publishers are terrified because the next generation is not reading. Every year in America, the average American buys fewer books and reads fewer books. That trend's been going down for 20 years. And authors obviously sell fewer books. What is really troubling is the age group 10 to 15. They're just not reading. As you said, they're playing video games, they're on their iPad, iPhone, whatever they're doing, they are not reading books. And I don't know how to prevent that. I'm writing a kids series for kids, it's called middle grade, ages 10 to 12, trying to, get kids to read. And the series is done okay, not great, and those numbers are going down too. But it's a huge problem. I'm not sure if it's that bad here, but in the U.S., we are terrified about what's going to happen with the future generations in reading books.
Are your kids reading? You have 2 kids?
My son's 36, my daughter's 33. They grew up reading a lot. My son stopped reading when he went to high school, and you know how boys are. When he was 14, he went into his room, and we didn't see him until he was 18. He came out when he was for 4 years. We didn't see him. I'm not sure what he was doing in his room, but he wasn't reading books. And then he came home from college, kind of like me. He was about 20 when he finally woke up. Mm-hmm. And he came home from college. He went to school close by, and he had a copy of the Da Vinci Code, Dan Brown, and he said, "This is awesome. This is a great book. I just read this book." And
Did he read your books?
Oh, he would never read my books. He's much too cool for that. My daughter, though, is a school teacher, and she's always been a big reader. My son has become a huge reader, so we spend a lot of time now talking about books. My daughter was teaching school 10 years ago, her first year as a rookie teacher, and she had a bunch of 10-year-old kids in her classroom, and she was trying to really push reading. And when we bought her, a bunch of books for her library. And one night over dinner, she asked me, she said, "Dad, could you write suspense for kids?" She said, I can't find any real good suspense for kids. The kids have a lot of books. They have fantasy and historical fiction or whatever, adventure, but real good suspense. And I'd never thought about it before. And I said, well, let me ponder this. And so I came up with the idea of this 13-year-old kid who thinks he's a lawyer. Both of his parents are lawyers, and he's an only child, and their whole world revolves around the law. They practice law together, and he stays in all kinds of trouble because he gives free legal advice to his friends. Mm-hmm. And
sounds familiar.
That's Theodore Boone. I've written, I think, 7 of those now. So that's kind of what I do for fun. But again, trying to encourage kids to read.